out across the street.
They
after
have
found-
kicked us out. After we rented the 4 theaters over there, General Motors said that I could not be on the premises doing any interviews or press.
What do you make of that? Is that still the 20-year-old bad blood?
I mean, well, I would get over it if I were them. You know, I mean, 20 years ago, I tried to warn them. I tried to warn the rest of the country, really, about what was going to happen to GM and cities like Flint. And, you know, then it happened, and it's like, well, okay, I didn't want it to happen. And, in fact, actually, I still have some decent ideas on how to, you know, how to restructure things to have a transportation company for the 21st century.
Well, and you still handle GM in this new movie, too, to some extent.
Yes, in the movie, I actually try to attempt to see the new chairman to share my ideas about mass transit and other things that the General Motors factories could be building that would benefit society.
To no avail, I take it.
Yeah, well, right. Clearly, if they were happy about being in the movie, we would be conducting this interview where we should be, over there in the building.
And it's government motors. I mean, they have $50 billion in tax dollars sitting over there.
No, actually, we have $50 billion of our money sitting over there.
Right.
That is owned by us now. And the de facto CEO is President Barack Obama. I legally rented the 4 theaters to have my Detroit premiere, and yet somehow they're able to ban me from my own premiere here. I mean, what country are we living in?
Right.
Hello.
So what position did you take on the government aid for both GM and Chrysler, and how would you have handled it differently?
Well, the bottom line is that there's no way that President Obama could allow our industrial infrastructure to completely collapse. If that happens, if we lose that workforce, if we lose those factories, you know, there's a lot of things that we need as a society to build in the 21st century, and we cannot let that crumble. So the idea of money available for that is a good idea. To give bailout money to the same people who made all the mistakes that led us here, I didn't think that was a good idea when President Bush started doling out the money. Now, there are new people in there, some not so new, but, you know, so we're at the wait and see point.
And the same with the banks and Wall Street. The hundreds of billions that went there, that's a big focus of this movie. And you're attempting to meet those people too.
Yes, I made this movie because I love democracy. And right now, you and I and everybody watching, we have no say in how this economy is run. And if we have no say, that means it's not a democracy. When you have the richest 1% who now have as much financial wealth as the bottom 95% combined, something is amiss.
So what's the solution? Because you and I have had this conversation I don't know how many times over the years. When you roll out a new movie, it becomes you're trying to make a statement, you're trying to show people that change is needed. People voted for change in this country last year. The candidate of change, are they going to get it?
I think so. I mean, I'm optimistic. I was overjoyed at President Obama's election, and I think he's got a good heart. I think he's a smart guy, and I think he's going to do right by us. If he doesn't, well, I think a lot of people will be completely deflated by that, because so many people, especially young people, got involved in the democratic process last election. They may not next time around if he's just the same old thing. I don't think he's going to be. I think he's going to do what's right for the people.
Are you impressed with how he's handled health care reform, or has he bungled that so far?
Well, you know, he did what he said he was going to do. He never said he was going to go for a single-payer health care, which is what we need. But by taking the half measure that he's taken, by only going halfway, he doesn't have his base enthused and excited about supporting him. So he's kind of out there all by himself. Had he suggested true universal health care, a nonprofit system like Medicare, I think millions would be in the street right now supporting him.
All right. How do you sell this movie to the public in this economy to spend the money to go out and see this movie?
You know, the great thing about movies during hard times is it's the one form of entertainment that most people, even if you don't have a job, can afford. A matinee show, you know, it's the one way. You can't afford to go to, you know, a concert at the Palace. You can't afford a lot of things. Take a trip somewhere maybe, but you can't afford, you know, the $9 or $10 to go see a movie. So. So I don't think so much along those lines as I think about how, you see there's a person walking up here, right in the middle of me trying to think.
I thought you cued her over or something.
Oh, no, I like my special...
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I don't like this question.
Yeah. Give it a wrap now.
What was your question then?
She's with a... Well, I think you started to answer it, but let me answer the question this way. You
said, how do I expect people are going to come during this economy to a movie?
Yeah.
Actually, my bigger problem is trying to figure out what was I thinking when I put the word capitalism in a movie title. I mean, that's not exactly what you want to, on a Friday night, say, hey, honey, let's go see that capitalism movie.
Right.
But that was my challenge. I thought, you know what, because I'm going to make the best film this year that I can. And I'm going to give people 2 great hours at the movie theater where you walk out of there, man, you are going to be exhilarated. You're going to be upset. You're going to maybe just want to get involved in our democratic process. All of that will be great.
And you're doing a free screening on Thursday here in Metro Detroit?
Yes.
For what reason?
Well, we are, I was actually inspired by Jay Leno when he came here and did the free concerts in Detroit, and I thought, geez, I asked the studio, could we pick 10 cities and do free showings of my movie for people who are out of work or people who've lost their homes. You know, there's a foreclosure filing in this country once every 7.5 seconds now. 7.5 seconds. 1 in 8 mortgages right now are in delinquency or foreclosure. We are in the middle of a very serious crisis. The Dow Jones may be doing great, you know, but the Doug Jones on the street, not so great.
All right, last question. 3 years ago when you and I talked up in Bel Air with the debut of Sicko, you thought you were done. And then you found this movie in you to make this one. And you and I talked about a year and a half ago, you were toying with the idea about a movie on race or racism in this country with the Obama campaign underway. Are you done? Are we going to see a Michael Moore movie on race or racism? What's your next subject, or are you done now? Are you proclaiming you're done?
Well, we'll wait and see. I want to see what happens with this movie. I'm hoping to ignite something across the country with this film. And if that happens, then I'll keep making these movies. You know, if people would rather, you know, just watch Dancing with the Stars, then, well, maybe I should be doing something else. But I'm gonna count on people wanting to be participants in their democratic process.